All right, welcome into another episode of The Blitz. I'm Billy Byler. I've got Wayne Stats with me, Chris Gay as well. Got a good show for you this week. We're going to talk about some blowout games, when it's okay and when it's not okay to call off the dogs. Talk about some rivalry games as well, and then get a little bit into our power poll, and then, of course, wrap up the show as we always do with a little bit of fun. But guys, I want to talk this week a little bit about these blowout games. We've seen a lot of them. I know I've seen a lot of blowout games this year. When is it okay to call off the dogs? Maybe it's not okay. You don't want to run up the score. There's a lot of factors that go in for a coach. It's a tough decision to make when you're up by, 30, 40 points. How do you deal with that?
I think anytime you get in enough offense, I mean, your starters are going to have to they're going to have to play in big games eventually. And, when you get in these blowout games, it's just like a glorified practice. So whenever Eric Parker and his guys down at Burke County get in enough work, somewhere in probably midway through the third quarter or so, that's probably a good time to call off the dogs.
Okay, Wayne, what do you think?
I think everything's pretty much fair game in the first half, unless you're up 30 points, you go find a kick late. That's one thing. But I think if you ever to score in the first half if you want to, because until then, no running clock. I'm not saying it's going to happen to be comebacks, but I do believe first half everything's pretty much fair game.
Well, you got to worry about that as a coach. If you put the second string in and the team starts to come back, you don't want to do that too early. I think a lot of people would just say, hey, if you don't want us to run up the score, stop us. That's one philosophy as well. I think the one factor you got to be careful of, you don't want your starters to get hurt. If your star quarterback drops back to pass up by 35 in the fourth quarter and then gets drilled and he'll miss the next 3 games, you're going to have to answer to a lot of people on that. So, something to think about, I guess, when you're having all these blowout games.
That's called karma.
Karma right there, yeah. Well, as you've known all season long, we do our power poll. We have the media from all around the area vote on who they think the best team is, the top 10 teams actually in the area. We'll take a look at that right now. All right, guys, now I want to talk about rivalry games. We had a few last week. We've got a few coming up as well. But who is the best rivalry? What 2 teams make the best rivalry in this area? I don't think anybody's going to agree on anything here, but Chris, what do you think?
Lincoln County, Washington Wilkes. Easy call.
Easy?
Easy call.
Why?
That game's going to be packed. You've got 2 schools, 2 teams that hate each other. For the most part, it's a close game. They've played each other in the state finals before. You've got to experience it at least once.
What goes into a good rivalry? What makes a good rivalry? It can't just be geography, right?
Great teams, great coaches, great players. I think it all goes in. And crazy fans.
A good past, I guess. Wayne, you think Lincoln County, Washington Wilkes? I don't know.
No, I think it's pretty clear. I think it's Josie Laney. I don't think rivalry doesn't mean it has to have close games every year. People pack them in there every time they face each other. They don't like each other. The history there. I think it's pretty obvious. It's those 2.
The schools are practically neighbors. They are neighbors, I guess. But yeah, it's been fairly lopsided recent years. I'm the South Carolina guy. I look over on the other side of the river, and I got to say Silver Bluff Strom Thurmond is one of the best in the area. Now, last week it was a blowout. Silver Bluff didn't quite live up to it. But annually, I think that's a great one. You also got to think Midland Valley Silver Bluff. That's always a great game no matter what the records are. And then, of course, you got the 3 teams in the same region, North Augusta, South Aiken, Aiken. Those teams really don't like each other. So there's a lot of good rivalries out there.
Don't be afraid to get up.
That's all we have for this week. See you next Thursday on The Blitz.
Blue 32. Ready? Chris, over there. Oh, come on, Billy. Oklahoma. Oh. Oklahoma.
Is it too high?
Ohio. God, Billy, jeez.